Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wolf and Bones Comic Club, where we are reading through classic comics that we feel like we should have read, starting with Berserk. I am one of your hosts, Kel McDonald,
And I am Bones Leopard.
and today we are reading through Berserk Volume 5. Bones, what was your general impression of Volume 5?
Oh man, I will admit it was kind of cozy. I feel like Volume 5 was very cozy compared to all the other ones. I was like, "Oh, this is like nice. It's got
Learn,
a lot of relationship
lulling you
building."
into a false sense of security.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode will get called the real golden age was the friends you made along the way. All right,
That's a good one.
so we left off, and there was on the previous volume where they were attacking some guys, and it was up to Guts to defend the rear as they escaped. And so
Yes.
we spend some time with Guts fighting guys. I took a screenshot of this below angle of some horses, and my note was, well, now he's just showing off. But then immediately afterwards, there was a janky horse, and I was like, well, not that horse.
I
Uh,
will say I think this was the first time at least that I noticed while reading this where like the horse got injured
yes,
too.
the horse finally got it. The horse had it coming.
Yeah.
Um, and we have everybody celebrating that they got out, but Guts isn't there, and that makes Griffith upset. So he makes a pouty face that Guts isn't here. So he goes back for him, and you took a picture. You sent me them clasping hands as Griffith goes to save Guts.
Yes, because it's like, oh, snap. It's like willingly grabbing the hand of somebody
Yep,
uh when he doesn't like to be touched.
yep, very important. Also, we get them riding together. Guts is in the rear, so Griffith's still on top. And we both took screenshots of why'd you come back, and Griffith doesn't answer
Yeah. Love that.
because they're in love. That's why he went back. Um,
Griffith, I don't know about Guts yet.
Give it time.
He is later for sure.
And then that leads into a trap, which I just really liked the inking of those cannons going off. Um, and it was like it's a
Yes,
clever
the setup.
trap, and it's also beautiful drawings of explosions, great use of blacks and negative space. Uh,
Yeah, honestly, that part where they lull the enemies into the trap, like, one, I 100% agree. I was like, dang, like, beautiful, but then also, really just showing off that, like, even when Griffith is going to, like, go save someone, he's still, like, a tactician,
yeah,
um, for the base kind of thing. I'm like, oh, snap.
go Griffith. And
Yeah.
then we have Casca's jealous that Griffith went back for Guts, um, which implies that Griffith does not go back for other people. Guts is special because Griffith loves him.
It's true.
And then I took a. There's these old guys talking about Griffith, and I thought this was good for letting the reader know how Griffith is perceived by people outside his team. Um, where it's like he managed the operation personally. He's young and lacks backing, but his men are extremely devoted to him. His tactics are brilliant, truly dreadful. And then we both took screenshots of Guts not going to the party.
Yeah, like such an iconic, like even though I've never read Berserk, like Guts just like I feel like this was like the first time we really saw Guts in that like sideways sitting pose that I feel like I always see him in like
Yeah,
all promotional art for Berserk.
yeah. He's got his security blanket sword with him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, and then we meet like the rest of the team. There's Rickert, who's like, "Gee, Guts, you're the coolest." Little
It's the
brother.
Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah. Jeepers, Mister, you're really strong. And then him
Which
getting
just makes me
oh
die horribly.
um and then we get Guts is literally carried to the party. He is going to have fun whether he likes it or not. Um so this is a good intro to Pippin. Just like we're having fun. Come. Uh
Yeah. I even like that, like, because, like, in that moment, like, Pippin's obviously strong enough to, like, force Guts to go. And, like, when Guts hits him, he's like, doesn't retaliate or anything. He's just like, no, we're having fun. Like, get
and
used
then
to this.
this good bit of comedy of him like dumping Guts on his butt like in front of everybody. Um
Yes.
and we get everyone is happy that Guts was cool. Like, yay, Guts. Um, he's a part of the team.
Yeah. Well, most people are happy.
Yeah, most people are happy. We got Griffiths happy. The only people who aren't happy are Casca and Crocus.
Hmm.
Uh, and then we get that bit again of his side sitting pose. I assume that he slept like this. Because this is very like defensive way of sleeping. Like he's got his back to the wall and someone can't come up to him from the front. And then he's got his sword in hand. Uh,
I wouldn't be surprised because, like, yeah, like it doesn't seem like he really moved anywhere else.
yeah.
So if that's his spot, kind of thing.
And then we have like him thinking about how this mercenary company is different from previous ones he's been in, including the one with his dad. I think Joda is my favorite of the gang. Um, the one whose eyes are kind of too far apart.
Yes, I like him too.
And maybe there's a lot of good like we're gonna focus in on Guts thinking about and contemplating the power of friendship. This
Yeah.
foreign concept to him. And then we have
Yeah.
a not gay at all water fight between him and Griffith.
It's just like when it was like send screen caps, I'm like, what if I just send this all of this?
Yeah. But it's also at this time period, Guts is 15, and I think this is a real reminder that they're teenagers. Like this dumb water fight. This makes me think of a thing in A Song of Ice and Fire that kind of got lost in the show is how young all the characters are. Like in the first Song of Ice and Fire book, Jon Snow at the wall, him and the other new recruits of the wall at the wall have a snowball fight because they're all dumb teenagers. And that's
Oh.
kind of missing from the show because they aged it up to make it easier to cast with actors that are like 20 somethings. And so I feel like this is the equivalent of like that snowball fight in A Song of Ice and Fire. Like yeah, this is a grim, dark story, but these are teenagers. They're gonna get in dumb, goofy play fights. And this is also the first time Guts has probably had people his own age hanging out.
Yeah, I was actually so like that's what like part of this like thing being so cozy to me is like I don't because I don't know what to expect with these characters where like some of them I'm like, oh, wait, okay, like are they making us like these characters because they're gonna die horribly? Are these people gonna betray us? Like the only future we really know is Griffith
Mm-hmm.
is obviously um where he is when the story first started kind of thing. So it's like, oh man.
Bones, have you read Chainsaw Man?
Uh, yes.
You know what Makima says to uh Denji right before the final bit?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. No.
You gotta make someone really happy before to make them fall into the pit of despair.
No. Dang it.
Um,
How dare you bring that up?
yep. And so I think that, with that in mind, that is why it's important not to skip the Black Swordsman, because since we know um, where Guts and Griffith end up, we know this is going to end not well.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, there's a big ominous close up of the. I still don't know how to say this. Bahalet or Bahalet?
Yeah, I've honestly, it's like one of those things where I feel like I say it correctly in my head, but I'm probably never gonna try to say it out loud.
I maybe need to watch the anime just to see how they say it. Uh, but yeah, so it's like zoom in on Griffith's weird necklace that has the weird facial features. Um, and then we get a
And the
goofy
fact that
face
he
from
had
Griffith
that
going,
necklace
"It's
at this
neat."
point. Right? Oh man, the like the innocent smile he has where he's just like, "Oh, I don't really know what this
Look at my
is." And I'm like,
creepy weird necklace. Isn't it cool?
"Right."
Yeah. But then very quickly turns to serious. I will get my own kingdom. We should see his dick in that.
I was wondering if the site I was reading it off of censored it or not.
No, it was it's censored in the manga as well. I have big giant print volumes. You do not see his dick. Because Japan has stricter rules about dicks.
Mm.
But yeah, so we know his goals, and we know that everyone's there to help him.
Yeah.
And you sent this screenshot of like the birds that are only white spots in the tone.
Yes.
You want to talk about these birds or this panel?
Well, yeah, so this panel specifically um it just I don't know, it's ominous because like even though it's like, normally you would be thinking like, "Oh, white birds." That's like a at least I feel like normally used in like a happy setting, but just like the way the whole panel is toned,
And
uh,
he's the white
it makes
hawk.
it seem more
Griffith's like nom de plume is the white hawk.
yeah, and then the fact that he's saying like in this very, very beautiful panel, like I will decide the place where you die is
Yeah.
just like
And then we have some
yeah.
comedic hijinks where Rickett accidentally pushes Guts into the water. And
That was
then
so good,
and
yeah.
then they're about to get back up and then Pippin pushes them in the water.
Seriously, cozy book. Very
Yeah.
cozy.
Um And I have that I like that Guts, thinking about the team, thinks about his dad for a bit. Because I assume his dad had a similar relationship to his mercenary gang, even though he hated Guts.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I was always kind of curious about his dad and those mercenaries just because of like it did show us like his men kind of like talking down after he got injured kind of thing, and I
Yeah.
feel like if Griffith got injured, his men wouldn't do that.
Oh, they definitely won't. You're gonna see that. Uh, but yeah, so it's kind of, I like that we have sort of that comparison between Dad's mercenary group and Griffith's. Um, and then it's 3 years later, so now they're 18. That might be the other reason why we didn't see.
I was surprised by the jump, but I was also happy that it like did a year time jump where I was like, okay, cool.
3 years. So he's 18 now. He was 15 before. I took a screenshot of that pike going through that guy's face because this manga really loves weird injuries, and I appreciate that. Like, it's not the usual. Like we said last time, he loves an eye popping out of a skull. And
Yeah.
here's the face deforming as the pike goes through it. I think it's neat. That probably grossed you out.
I will admit it did. I will say I feel like this volume specifically, it seemed like less eye poppy injuries and more of like skin stretchy
Yeah.
injuries. So I think he was going through a phase of like, oh, what about this type of injury?
And then we're back to our big swingy sword panels. So I have him cutting a dude in half. And I also took a picture, screen cap of this panel that's Guts cutting through some guys, and you can tell where Guts has been based on the decapitation and dismemberment.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that you can kind of see the swing of his sword, through like he starts here, then he goes here, and then he's over here. So, he's definitely like swinging it back and forth.
Yeah. And it's obvious that oh my gosh, I just forgot the creator's name. I just blanked on it.
Kentaro.
Well, the creator. Yes. It's I don't know. To me it's like seeing that panel, it's like, oh man, he like really thinks some of these things through kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing, which is nice.
And then Casca's mad at Guts because she's
Always.
always mad at Guts.
I did like the like, 3 years later, it's like, oh, their relationship really hasn't changed that
She's
much.
angrier at him. That's what's changed. I wrote down my note on this page is someone's in trouble.
You're not wrong.
Um,
I even like that like, she's like, "Oh, can we talk?" And I was kind of waiting for the men to be like, "Oh, like then y'all are gonna be alone or something." Like I was thinking the joke was gonna go that way, and then it's like, "Oh, she's gonna go yell at him again," and I was like, "Ooh."
yeah. And so that's good because it implies that it happens so often that it's just uh someone's in trouble again, going to the principal's office.
And
Um
also the fact that she has like because he's also a captain, like she does have that like military decorum of like not yelling at him in front of his men
mhm.
in like a this type of situation, which I also just thought was a good like thing to note of like
Her
the way
character.
she operates versus
Yeah.
yeah.
Um and then we get so she yells at him. I like the spurs on her boots. Good.
They are, yeah,
Um,
good Spurs.
and then we get she says that she doesn't care about the other people, and he gets so mad at her, and he's like, I do care. Um, and that's so different from Black Swordsman Guts.
Yes. I was actually okay, I actually kind of wanted to talk about this of just like it's really obvious that he like wants to care, and this is obviously a deep cut for him. But it made me curious, like, is it because of Griffith that he's like, no, I care because Griffith cares? Or like what's your take on that?
Well, I think it's because this is the first time he has a place where he belongs.
Yeah.
And people like him. And so it's not just Griffith, it's he's buddies with Pippin and Rickard and Judah and even to a little bit Corcus. Like, um, they're all his buddies.
Yeah.
Um, also, this panel sequence, Casca's lips here. There's a few times where they draw her with real dick sucky lips, and I don't like it.
Yes.
I don't like it. Real like porn
I
star lips.
almost took
Yeah,
a screen cap just to be like, what the hell? But I was
yeah.
like, it doesn't seem like it's all the time, but it
No,
did happen
it's
a
just
lot.
every so often. It's like to remind you that she's a lady. Here's some porn star lips. Um, mm, don't like that, but I do like Guts cares. Um,
He does.
he has feelings, and so does Griffith. Griffith's blushing while talking to Guts. Um,
I
and
also do like that when they're talking, like they're reminiscing about their fight, but also like it's very obvious that like Guts does think of Griffith as a leader, and he
mhm.
even like apologizes for running off on his own again.
Yeah, and then Griffith's response is, "Well, I knew you were gonna do that.
Yeah.
That was part of my plan." And then we have Griffith being knighted. Um, while Guts studies the blade.
Which I purposely sent like
You
two
yeah
panels that are like
you sent 2 pages that like are very good contrast to each other. See, I zoomed in on the individual panels, and you sent the whole
yeah,
pages. Like, yeah, um, they are great contrast to one another. How they're entering different worlds.
yeah.
There we go. There's Nosferatu Zodd. There she got the porn star lips again. But I do
Um,
like Rickard's um face.
yeah. I also like that. I don't know. I was not expecting, like, after seeing Nosferatu Zod, I'm like, oh, this totally makes sense, but still was not what
Yeah.
I was expecting.
Um, but to show that, so this is the panel. I think it is Guts does care. It's not just Griffith. Is the guy who's cut in half comes to
Yes.
warn them, and Guts feels really bad. So this is, I think, showing that previous panel. Guts does care. That's why he's throwing himself into danger. He cares. He has,
Yeah, he's doing it because he would rather be the one that takes all the hits than have any of his men
yeah.
get injured.
And then there's the intro to Nosferatu Zodd, which is just all the dismemberment. Um,
Gosh, so
so what'd you think of Zodd?
Honestly, overall, like design and stuff,
He is not a
like
space
throughout those,
vampire.
he is not a space vampire, but he is literally like a Batman,
Yeah.
and so it's just like, oh,
He looks a lot like, oh, I forget its name, but the demon at the end of Fantasia, the Bald Mountain.
yes,
Yeah.
oh, I can't think of its name either.
But you knew what I meant. So
Yes.
we have like Zod, I guess, is collecting heads, or are those bodies stacked on top of each other?
Oh, Chernabog. Sorry, I just wanted to.
Chernabog. Okay, he looks like Chernabog.
Yes.
He doesn't need armor. He's naked to feed their fears. I've been rewatching Venture Brothers, and there's a part where Brock gets naked, and they're like, "Why are you naked?" And he goes, "To feed their fear." Um,
Such a good show.
I feel like his dick should be hanging out. To add to that, feed their fear thing. That's that's what Berserk needs, more dicks.
That is, it's surprisingly missing a lot of that. I did like I liked Nosferatu Zodd because like one, yeah, absolutely terrifying. Not in armor. I was expecting like honestly like even with like my space vampire or thing, I was just like oh, but no matter what, he's gonna be like a dude. And then we see him, and it's like oh, this is not a dude.
So, like, if you
This is
skipped the Black Swordsman arc, this would come out of fucking nowhere. Like,
yeah.
I like that they keep his face in shadow a lot, so it's just like glowy eyes and blackness.
And
Um,
honestly, I set panels with his face like that too, because I love it
yeah.
when that happens with characters that are just like it just means that like something's off and it's like unnatural and it's like yes, I love this.
Um, and I like also the white doing his like condensed breath. As he breathes
Yeah.
out, like, this is great. And this whole fight, just speedline central. Um, and Guts is gonna go for it. So I love these
Yeah.
columns in the background. He didn't need to put these columns in this like Guts getting ready to fight pose. They look great.
Honestly, this whole fight, even though it's literally like guts and like this and Nosferatu Zodd, like it's just beautiful. And let that pose before Guts swings, and
Then
then
he turns
yeah,
into a kitty cat.
yes,
I love that panel. I won't have it. Don't interrupt my fight.
oh
And then
man,
we have the looser, darker line art again while he eats a guy. Um,
yeah,
I love it when these like the hatching gets so much thicker for these extra gory bits. Um, in the chat, Lucky Dagger is saying his beast form reminds me of Behemoths in Final Fantasy. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. I could see that.
And then Griffith is gonna go save Guts, and Casca's got porn star lips again. But is sad that Griffith's gonna risk himself for Guts.
Yeah, which I feel like at this point it's been like 3 years.
Um,
maybe you know what your boy's gonna do, but
I like that she's just resigned, and she's not
yeah,
happy, but she resigned. And I like that they ended one of the Nosferatu Zodd chapters with, "Where are you going? Your heart's still beating." This is a fight to the
Yes.
death. Uh, and we got Nosferatu Zodd taking out Griffith.
Which I will say shocked me. I was not expecting it. I was like, whoa, okay. Griffith is people too.
Yeah. And then Guts cuts off Nosferatu Zodd's arm, and Nosferatu Zodd beats him with it.
Yes, I actually loved that. Like,
it's a serious moment,
like,
but it is very funny.
I mean, if you got it, use it.
Yeah. And Lucky Dagger says that they're called Behilets. So Nosferatu Zodd's reaction to the Behilet is I wrote down, "When scary things get scared, that is a bad sign."
100%.
Yeah,
His reaction, I was like, okay, like, I mean, we already kind of knew it was going to be a bad thing, but like, yeah, him being this like honestly, I feel like Nosferatu Zodd's been the scariest monster we've run into so far, and
I like that this thing is like, if you're truly his friend, when his ambition collapses, death will pay you a visit, a death you can never escape. And I like that it's like, this only applies if you're actually friends. Because as we saw in the earlier story, they have to sacrifice someone they actually care about.
Yeah.
We got thunder over here. I don't know if you heard that.
I did hear that. I
Very,
like it.
very,
Ominous.
very appropriate for Nosferatu Zodd's warning.
I love his final form.
Yeah.
Good.
And then you sent the ink wash death you can never escape picture.
Yes. It's so good.
And then we have Casca yelling at Guts. It's all Guts' fault. Griffith only puts himself in danger for Guts. And I think that's the only time we've seen her cry.
Oh.
Yeah, she hasn't cried. She's just been angry before. This is Griffith is this, I told you the love triangle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I took a screen cap of this because Kentaro Miura really loves to make some goofy ass one-page nobles. This dude's got handsome Squidward face.
Yes, he does. That's exactly it. I was sitting there when I was reading it being like, what does this remind me of? Oh my god.
And handsome Squidward is put off by Guts' death glare. And even on crutches, Guts is kicking some ass. Except for Casca's.
Yeah.
Everyone is like, oh shit. Mom, Dad, stop fighting.
For real.
And then Casca's really upset. Why does Griffith care about you? You suck.
Which I did like that because like it's true that if he had gone in and interrupted that, like it would have caused an issue, but Guts just doesn't care about stuff like that.
Yeah. And then we have Guts thinking about what Casca yells at him all the time.
Yeah.
I just loved that sort of like him slashing while thinking about it. And then he asks Griffith, "Why'd you go back and save me? Why do you keep going back to save me?" And Griffith is like, "I don't need a reason, 'cause we're in love."
Pretty much.
Yep.
Good scene.
End scene, end volume. But yeah, so cozy is a good descriptor. We're the real golden age was the friends we made along the way. I made that joke, but that really is like the summary of these ones.
Yeah. No, it does. It does make me worried. Like, is this going to be the coziest one, or is there going to be another cozy one, and then we're going to go into the darkness? Because I know, like, at least from what I've been told about Berserk, is that it gets like super dark.
Okay, so I did ask you if you knew what the eclipse was.
Which I don't.
The eclipse, if you have to tap out because it's too gross, it's going to be the eclipse.
Okay.
The eclipse starts in volume 12. And I think goes through most of volume 13.
Oh, okay.
And that is when all the shit hath hitteth the fan. There's gonna be some bad before then, but we still need to like build up everyone's relationships.
Okay.
So next volume, the chapters we're reading are Master of the Sword Part 2. This was Master of the Sword 1. Assassin 1, 2, 3, and 4. Precious Thing. Departure for the Front. Engagement. Casca Chapter 1, Casca Chapter 2. We're reading till Casca Chapter 2.
Okay.
Which is gonna be some Casca backstory.
All right.
It
does make me. I'm curious since her backstory is coming after a chapter called Engagement.
She is not the one getting engaged. But yeah, so the next few volumes before everything falls apart is we gotta have Griffith do more political climbing. Before everything falls apart.
Okay.
But it's important to note that so far Griffith has only stopped his plans to save Guts. No one else gets the Guts treatment.
Okay. Not even Casca?
Nope.
You don't think?
Not even Casca.
Oh, okay.
Guts is special.
Because they have intense eyes when they fight.
Yeah. But yeah, we gotta watch as Griffith tries to pursue his dream.
All right. No, I mean, like I do think that like them being older, and I he's on volume 5 at this point, but I do feel like in this volume, like a lot of his, like, at least drawing of like the main cast and especially Guts does look a lot better. Like he's really improved, kind of thing.
Yeah. Right now they're 18, except for Rickard. Maybe Griffith's 19.
Oh, so Griffith could be older. But do we know how old he is, or?
He's about the same age as Guts. Like, there's Guts said
Okay.
you're the same age as me.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
So yeah, so Guts is 18. So's Griffith. Griffith is really good at this political maneuvering for a teenager.
Which does because do we? I know we're going into Casca's backstory, but I'm guessing Griffith's doesn't happen for a while.
Um, you don't get it completely spelled out.
Okay.
You get hints of it. But I think the Guts in Black Swordsman is maybe like 20.
Okay.
Since he's 18 here.
Not a lot of time passes.
Yeah. Because there's going to be another 1 year jump. I'm looking ahead to see
Oh.
what the whole things are. So we'll get a little bit of it, of Griffith in 7.
Okay.
And then we're gonna let's see. Because there's a guy that Griffith needs to get revenge on. He doesn't let loose ends go.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so 8 is sort of the cracks in Griffith's plan start to form, and then 9 shit falls apart, and then 10 and 11 are some fights, and then 12 is eclipse time, baby.
Right.
So what panel do you want to use as our YouTube thumbnail? Do we want to do the like for your sake, oh they're in love panel?
Honestly, I do love that panel.
Or do you want to do Nosferatu Zodd, death will pay you a visit?
Well, yeah, I think Nosferatu wins because I do love his design so much.
Man, Nosferatu Zodd's so cool looking.
It really is.
But I do think
I'm hoping we'll see more of him.
I do think his dick should be out.
I mean, technically it is.
But we can't see it. Oh, we should actually use the neat as the YouTube thumbnail.
Oh, valid. That's actually a really good. I approve of that.
All right. So, next time, read up to Casca 2.
All
We'll
right.
get some Casca backstory. Why she hates Guts so much. And
I'm
then
excited.
then oh, what did you make of the nobles that are surrounding Griffith? I didn't talk about that so far.
Well, I mean, like the fact that like he obviously has some sort of favor with the king. Um, I don't know, like knowing like some of the stories I've read with like nobility and stuff, it makes me worried that they're like you know they're like okay like yeah sure he's like doing all this good for us, but like they're also like so ready to like
They did get called bumpkins at the ceremony.
yeah.
Um and then handsome Squidward is annoyed that Griffith's getting attention.
Yeah. So, like, if anything, I feel like if there's gonna be any betrayal against Griffith, like, it's gonna be from the nobles.
These are some good ass pages.
They
I'm
really
just
are.
looking at them. They're so pretty. Like that architecture, beautiful. All right. I'm gonna stop the Berserk thing here. Uh, um, so you can find my comics at kelmcdonald.com.
Find mine at bonesleopard.com.
And I'm gonna hit stop, and then I'm gonna just draw. Tune in a week from now, March 20th, where we will discuss Casca backstory.
Very important.
Okay.